just check over here. Okay, we're good. Let me just post into our community. How are you guys doing today? You having a nice day so far? I did not go live yesterday. I had an incredibly busy day doing job interviews for the prep center, but I'm live today. How are you guys doing today? Are you having a good day so far? I know the day's only just started, but positive vibes, right? Start the day strong, go into the week, crushing it. Right, I've got a question ready. LGM, not gonna lie, I just woke up. Me too, brother, me too. I had a mad headache yesterday and I slept it off last night, so I'm feeling great today. Feeling a bit more sprightly. Do you guys get started as soon as you wake up? Do you start sourcing? Do you do any Amazon stuff before you go to your 9 till 5? Or do you just do it in the hours that you can? I've always been a fan of fitting in as much as I can before the 9 till 5 and then afterwards and then the weekend. That's essentially how you do it, isn't it? If you're gonna run a business whilst working a 9 till 5, you have to fit in the hours any way you can. Are we actually live everywhere? Let me double check. There's so many bloody screens. Okay, yeah, we're live. Good. Fantastico. All right, so hey, James Pether, welcome to the live, mate. Thank you for joining. Good to see you in here. LGM, nope, no plans last night. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Take it easy. It's what are we in now? It's like Wednesday, isn't it? It's Thursday today. Good God, where's this week gone? That's mad. Yeah, that's crazy. I was flat out yesterday. I was so busy. I had back-to-back calls. I've got back-to-back calls today. Literally, I'm doing this live, and then for the rest of the day, I'm on calls all day. Like, I barely even have breaks actually today. It's just one of those manic days. What am I doing? TikTok. Here we go. Just need to make sure I'm live on TikTok. Yeah, just having one of those manic days because we're growing the prep. The prep center's getting really busy, which is fantastic. But it means that we need staff to grow. So whenever there's a staffing issue, we obviously prioritize that. And it just means I was doing a lot of interviews and setting up interviews yesterday, which is very cool. I'm just gonna turn on my click. There we go. Right, we're good. Okay, so do we have any questions so far? No questions over here or here or here. That's fine. So I've actually got a little list of topics to talk about today. So how does Amazon FBA actually work? So Amazon FBA is the act of you as a third-party seller buying a product when the price is low, sending it into Amazon FBA's fulfillment centers, and then reselling it at a higher price for profit. It sounds really simple, and my God, I wish it was simple, but there's actually a lot of complexity to it. Amazon did not make it easy. It's their sandbox, it's their playground. You have to play by their rules. And to be fair, they have a lot of laws and compliance that they have to follow, so you have to play by the government's rules as well. So I believe that's why it's not as kind of user-friendly as it used to be. It's not as accessible as it used to be because it is more complicated, but that just leaves a lot of room for sellers who are more serious about taking this business model properly. It leaves more room for you to actually grow and scale with less competition because there's so many products now that are 100 times unit ungates and people just don't bother. So it does leave the more experienced sellers and the more willing sellers like you and I, it leaves us space to do really well. So when I joined in 2023, it was, I talk about this on the lives all the time, it was very much peak virality. It was as popular as it could be on Google Trends, especially in the UK, well, even more so in the US, I think. And it's just not as popular right now. It's not that it's out of fashion completely. It's just not as bad as it was 3 years ago when I started. It's definitely more challenging. Challenging is the wrong word. There is definitely a lot more rules that you have to follow now in comparison to when I started 3 years ago. But competition is for sure less intense than it was back then. And the opportunity is still there. It's still fantastic. Ungating was an absolute nightmare during December and January. But honestly, ungating's been very good again as long as you know how to play the game. So many people get frustrated by it, and I understand that because it's really challenging. Again, Amazon did not make this easy for us, which is a shame because 60% of the units sold on Amazon are sold by third-party sellers. So you would think they would want to make it as easy as possible for people, but evidently they make all the money in the world, and yet they still make it incredibly challenging. It's crazy. But yeah, incredible business model. Been selling since 2023. I've had every single problem that you can imagine, which is why I don't get stressed by any problems anymore. It's why I try and tell new sellers, like, you're going to get hurdles. You really can't get emotionally wrapped up in every single problem you face, because it's going to wear you down. You're going to get really tired. You need to just take every issue as it comes, and develop a thick skin. Otherwise, you're not going to be in it for the long term. Wicked Crazy, do you use an LLC as you sell, asking for tax purposes? So an LLC is a US entity, a US business entity. We are UK focused Amazon sellers, so what we would have is a LTD. But in the UK, you can also register as a sole trader if you don't want to develop a limited company first. So what a lot of Amazon sellers do, because they work a 9 to 5 job, is they will register as a sole trader. They'll sell until they hit the 90,000 VAT threshold. They'll then register an LTD, so the VAT threshold resets, and then they'll go to 90k before registering for VAT. For you, Wicked Crazy, for an LLC, I can't really advise too much, because I only like to give advice on stuff I have experience in, and I haven't sold in the US yet. Maybe one day. Well, I mean, you guys have you're the kings of capitalism, aren't you? So it makes sense to sell in the US one day if you're into e-commerce, but I just haven't done it yet. Thank you for the question, and thank you for joining, by the way. Must be very early where you are if you're in the US. Surely it's very early where you are. You're a night owl or something. Okay, so how much money do you realistically need to start? This is a question I get every single live, and I'm sure I'm going to say this at least a couple of times in this live. We actually just posted a video across our social media, so be sure to give us a follow and check out the videos we just posted. We just did a video on why we believe you shouldn't start with less than £1,000. So you have an Amazon seller subscription, that's £30. You have Keeper, that's £25. You have SellerAmp SaaS, that's £25. You need to buy postage labels, that's £10 to £15. You might be really keen and you might buy a thermal printer, that's going to be £65 to £90. Although you don't have to do that unless you're serious about getting into this. You need to get boxes, which you can get for free, or they're going to cost you money. All of these things chip away into the initial pot of money that you're investing into it. We say £1,000 plus, more is better, because the more you have, the more money you can invest in ungating. You have to spend some money on ungates initially, otherwise you're going to really struggle. Auto ungates are there. We have a free auto ungate list that you can go through, but unless you're spending some money on ungating, you're going to find the first 3 months incredibly challenging. But I promise you, as soon as you get over 200 units of sales, it does get a lot easier. Braxax, I see you in here. Welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. Deal Radar, thank you for joining. Nathan, I don't recognize you, mate. Are you just getting started, or are you someone who's been in here before? Wicked Crazy, I'm in Hawaii, so it's only 9 p.m. here. Damn, that's mad. Okay, very cool. I don't know if you've ever heard of the YouTube channel called Jolly. It's these two British guys that eat food, basically. I just watched a video of them in Hawaii, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous as a country. I compare that to British grey weather, and I pine for the sun. Braxax, morning. Welcome to live. Thank you for joining. Do we have anyone on the other platforms? Not really. That's okay, though. We'll keep going. So, what's common beginner mistakes that make new sellers lose money? So that's a really good question, because all of us are going to make mistakes, and all of us are going to lose a little bit of money at some point. I'm going to quote you Alex and Layla Hormozi here. They were saying, if you want to make 100,000, you need to be willing to lose 10,000. If you want to make 1 million, you need to be willing to lose 100,000, because you're going to make mistakes along the way. Regardless of the business model you do, it's going to be true every single time. So the first beginner mistakes that we see people making is they don't have Keeper and SellerAmp together, they don't analyze the listing correctly, and then they buy stock that doesn't sell, or they buy stock that they can't sell. So by far, the most common thing I see people do is buying stock from Alibaba or from China in general, and then they try and sell on someone's PL listing, which is blocked. You're not allowed to sell on people's private label listings. It obviously is a massive waste of money. They waste their time and they get demotivated, which is a real shame, because if you learn how to do it correctly, getting those first hits of dopamine from sales is an incredible rush. You know, it's very addictive. So yeah, I would say avoid buying from China. You know, you're not, well, we don't teach private label here. That's not what we do. You can't sell on PL listings. Get Keeper and SellerAmp together. Learn how to read a Keeper listing. You do need both in conjunction, and I'll talk about why you need both. in a bit. And just be willing to make mistakes. I promise you, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's okay. The sooner you can get your head around the concept that making mistakes is part of how you learn, without bashing yourself down, you're gonna do much better in this business model and in life in general. Braxats, can I just find products I'm ungated in, sell that, then get auto ungated? Yeah, so you can absolutely. You can just focus on products you're auto ungated in if you want. They typically can be a bit more competitive, and you will find it a lot harder to find products. So I have a bit of a bias, right? Our free Discord community has almost 1,400 members, and I talk to a lot of people. And what I see is a lot of people getting really demotivated because they can't get product sales without being gated in almost everything they see in the first 3 months. So when I say you need to spend money on some ungates, it's just because it makes it easier. Get ungated in as much as you can. Get sales wherever you can. Get the trust and credibility up with your account. Get to those first 200 sales. And if you see a product that you really want to sell because it's profitable, find the cheapest product within that brand, ungate it with that brand, as long as it's like, you're going to have to check the prerequisites of the product. Is it 10 units a month? Is it 100? You're going to have to check. And you will find the more you ungate, the more easy it is to get ungated. The more credibility your account has, the more Amazon can trust you. Matthew, do you use AliExpress? Absolutely not, brother. We teach online arbitrage, Amazon to Amazon, and European Amazon to Amazon, EU 8A. In that model, you absolutely do not buy from China. You absolutely don't. You're going to be buying fake stock and selling on someone's listing that you shouldn't be selling on, or selling on a major brand's listing with fake stock, which is not okay. You need to buy from major retailers or Amazon directly. AliExpress I wouldn't even use that for private label. If you were going to do private label, you would want to buy from Chinese suppliers directly. A lot of people don't realize this, but Alibaba is actually really expensive. Because of our Western eyes, the prices on Alibaba look really cheap, but if you actually go to Chinese manufacturers directly, Alibaba is really expensive. Alibaba is essentially the Amazon of China. So yeah, I do not recommend buying from AliExpress. I've sold some AliExpress products on eBay before. Even then, I would be careful though. I don't think eBay likes that particularly very much. But yeah, just don't buy from China if you're going to do OA or 8A. Only buy from China if you're going to do PL, and don't even go to AliExpress for that. Daniel K, thank you for the follow. Matthew, very welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. Braxax, I made a mistake buying 156 units of an item, and now I'm stuck with it. It happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. Some people would say you can return it. There's a bit of an ethical dilemma there. Returns cost businesses a lot of money. So if you're going to buy products that ungate and then return them, that's kind of a, how do I say, I'm not allowed to swear on lives. How do I say, it's a bit of a, oh my God, literally every synonym I'm thinking of is a swear word. You're a plonker if you buy from shops and then return stock after getting ungated, because it's, if you were selling, right, and someone bought 100 units of your product and then returned them all, and maybe when they returned them all they weren't in perfectly sellable condition, it sucks, doesn't it? It really sucks. So you just have to remember that when you're buying it from any retailer, it sucks for them too. A lot of businesses get in trouble with that. When it comes to the mistake you did buying 156 units, eBay, Vinted, Facebook Marketplace, post in the community chat in our free Discord community. Say, hey, I've got this. Does anyone want it? I can't sell it. There's always going to be some way you can sell it. What you need to try and do is you need to try and break even on it, which means selling it at cost price. If you can sell it for a profit, that's fantastic. Do that. But a lot of the times you need to just get your money back and then reinvest it back in and recycle it. Yeah. It's whilst I'm feeling better today, it's still first thing in the morning. My brain isn't fully working yet. Sunday League Golfers, very cool name. I've set up an Amazon seller account. What should I do next? You should join our free Discord community, my friend. Link in the bio. In the free Discord community, you can scrolly to the bottom, and you'll get a free Amazon FBA course that will teach you all the fundamentals in the game. You'll get a free purchasing sheet so you can keep track of your purchases and see where you're buying your stock and how much potential profit you're making. You can download the auto ungate checklist. You can download the discount gift card tracker, and we have a discount gift card portal. And you wanna spend 2 to 4 hours learning the model, 2 to 4 hours watching videos, figuring out how to use Keeper, how to use Celeramp SaaS, and then just start buying. Just start buying some products and testing. You are not gonna get proof of concept until you see sales and profit. As soon as you see sales and profit, light bulb, you see it works, which it's really funny. If you know the data behind Amazon, 60% of the units sold on Amazon are sold by third-party sellers, and yet people still don't believe it. It's wild. Like, Amazon is literally the biggest marketplace in the world. Everyone buys from Amazon, and yet people still don't believe that Amazon FBA works, even though 60% of the products on it are sold by third-party sellers. Literally, how could it not work if that wasn't true? If that was true? Do I have any questions anywhere? No, I don't. Welcome to all you cool kids on YouTube. Let me know if you've got any questions. What online arbitrage? What is online arbitrage, and how does it differ from the other Amazon business models? So, online arbitrage is the act of buying a product when the price is low and reselling when the price is high. In our context for Amazon FBA, that means buying from major retailers. So all your common places, Boots, John Lewis, Sports Direct, Currys, Argos, wherever it is, you buy from those major retailers with discounted products and you resell on Amazon to make a profit. That's arbitrage. Amazon to Amazon is, in the UK, it's waiting for Amazon to go on offer. Amazon will price match retailers all the time. They'll do product offers all the time. You want to wait until Amazon reduce their prices, buy when the product price is low, and sell again on the same listing when the product is high. There is an art form to this. It's not going to be true for every single product. And what you need to do is you need to watch the Keeper graph and see a really consistent price historically before the sale. So if a product is always selling at £100 and then really randomly it drops to £50, you can buy it when it's £50, and then when it goes back up to £100, you can resell it for a profit. That's what Amazon to Amazon is. EU A to A is slightly different. In the EU, products, you don't have to necessarily rely on price drops. Products are just cheaper in the EU. We actually get really shafted in the UK. The more into business you get, the more you see that the UK's structure around business is a little bit of a scam. It's just absolutely mad. Digital Dale Boy, welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. And yeah, EU A to A is the act of buying from Amazon EU, so that might be Germany, Spain, France, wherever, and then reselling in the UK. You have to be very careful. You have to only sell selected listings. You can't sell everything because there's different compliance laws in different countries. But it's a very good, very good model to try, and it has less competition than OA. Then you've got wholesale, where on the supply chain you've got manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, retailers, which includes third-party sellers, and then the consumer, the customer. So wholesale is either buying brand direct, it's buying from distributors, or it's buying from wholesalers in general. More unknown wholesalers is not such a good business model anymore because Amazon are requesting supply chain information and a lot of them won't provide it. So really small unknown wholesalers is a bit tricky. I would be very careful with that at the moment. And then of course you've got private label, which is where you start and sell your own brand. We do OA, A to A, and EU A to A, and we do bits of wholesale as well. Del Boy, welcome. Sunday League Golford. I've joined your Discord, just waiting for approval. Give me one moment. We usually have a team member in these live calls with us, but Jay has not responded, so I'm just gonna give them a prompt. Okay, we've got quite a few people in the Discord, so I'll tell you what, I'm gonna keep reading questions and I'll accept some people in. So, follow to inspire. How many Amazon accounts do you have? Only one, my friend, unless you mean buying accounts. When you have multiple seller accounts, that is a really, really quick way to get your account banned. So I only recommend, sorry, if you hear me typing, I'm just letting people in, into the free community. So I only recommend having one seller account. When it comes to buying accounts, I'm gonna copy and paste this. When it comes to buying accounts, in the UK, you can have one business account and 3 personal buying accounts. The reason we say those numbers, we've split tested this for a long time. We understand what happens if you have more or less. Less is fine. You just can buy fewer products. More isn't okay because they tend to start cancelling orders if you have more than that. So you can typically have about 3 personal accounts, 1 business account. your your buying accounts, the bank card that you use has to match the name on the account, otherwise that will lead to order cancellations. And really, really important, never, 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 never buy for Amazon to Amazon on the same email address that your seller account is associated to. Your buying account and your selling account have to have completely different emails. And the reason for that is Amazon has automated systems that close buying accounts really regularly. You can almost always get them back. But if your email is the same on your buying and selling account and your buying account gets closed, your seller account gets closed as well. And it's really tricky to get it back sometimes. So you always have to make sure those are two different email addresses. We've got quite a few people coming into the Discord community. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. How many accounts do you have? PS, I'm not called this on Discord. Yeah, no worries at all. I'm just gonna let everyone in. Why not? More the merrier, right? I'm sure none of you are scammers, hopefully. That's why we've got a form coming into the community. There's so many Discord is just full of people who spam the chats. It's so weird as well. It takes us less than a second to just delete all their messages and cancel what they've done. And you'd think these people would have more important things to do. Better use of their time, more productive use of their time. But oh well, that's the world we live in, I guess. Okay, right. I've accepted everyone in. I hope you're happy. Okay, right, what are we? Digital Del Boy, supply chain. Can you touch on that for me, please? I can still buy from Argos, Tesco's, etc. Yeah, absolutely. So the e-commerce supply chain, if you're a brand, you count as the manufacturer, right? Because if you're producing your own product, you are the manufacturer, even if the manufacturer is someone you use in China. So with the supply chain, from top down, it goes manufacturer, then distributors. So the way you can conceptualize that is the manufacturer is going to have the best margins and they might sell D2C, direct to consumer. If they do that, they it's not impossible, but they're less likely to sell to distributors and wholesalers. Distributors are the ones who are going to buy massive amounts of their stock at the best prices. But they're going to buy them at such volumes that you probably don't have the cash to afford it. I'm talking 100k to millions in pounds in orders. Below them, the distributors will sell to wholesalers. Wholesalers buy it at a slightly less good price, but then wholesalers have margin to sell it to retailers. So it just keeps going down that supply chain. Retailers include third-party sellers like you and I. You and I are retailers on Amazon's business platform, and then we sell B2C, business to consumer. We sell directly to the customer as a retailer. So when I say supply chain, wholesale when I started 3 years ago was my goal. It's what I wanted to do. But wholesale 3 years ago, you could buy from random wholesalers that no one's ever heard of, and their invoices would be seen as gold dust that always work. It just doesn't work like that anymore. Amazon are really desperate to figure out supply chain, and with more of these unknown wholesalers, they might not want to give the supply chain information to Amazon. So whilst you can buy from them and you can make a profit, occasionally Amazon will request supply chain information to get proof that the products are authentic. And if if you've bought from a supplier who won't provide that, you can get headaches, which is why we say OA and A to A is better, or going directly to the brand is good. But doing brand direct wholesale is it's not something that I think is very accessible to a lot of people. You have to provide them a lot of value. You have to be able to buy enough stock. It's not a good choice for beginners. OA and A to A is a good choice for beginners. It's still tricky, but I mean, every business model is tricky. And then PL is definitely not beginner friendly. PL is an entirely different business model. Even though Amazon is the same platform, it's an entirely different business model. You need to become a marketer. You need to sell on other platforms. It takes a lot more time. It's a lot more risk, in our opinion. And because of, we have a community of almost 1,400 members now, we know way more people losing money from PL than making money, which is why we're cautious about advising it to people in the beginning. If you have a lot of cash, if you have some experience and you want to build your own brand, then obviously PL is the way to go. But it's just not that. It's not the case for the people we talk to in our community. Obviously, we have a bit of a bias because the type of clients and community members we attract are more people focused on OA. Obviously, we don't attract PL people as much, but still, it's just because we have so many conversations with people losing money, and like the amount of times we've helped people who got into PL and lost money, we helped them get into OA, and then they started making profit straight away. It's a night and day difference, and it's so much faster, in our opinion. You need an online receipt to ungate or you need an online receipt to ungate items, right? Yeah, so not yes, but not quite. You need an online invoice. You need an invoice to prove. You need an invoice to get ungated. So that's a really good question, actually, a really good question. So some places will give you e-receipts. Some places will give you invoices. E-receipts don't get accepted by Amazon. So a good example of an e-receipt, Argos, when you buy from them, will give you an e-receipt, and then you have to request an invoice, and they will send it to you in post, and it takes 30 days. So you as a beginner who has who might have limited capital, you don't want to tie up your capital for 30 days waiting for an invoice from Argos that might not work, and the e-receipts won't. Whereas if you go to other places like John Lewis or wherever, as long as the invoice has their supplier information and your billing information with your company name, you should be fine. The ungate will work. A lot of people who really struggle with the ungating process, they don't seem to realize that on the ungate, it doesn't show their company information. It just shows their company email address and their name. That's just not going to work. You need an invoice that has the correct information on it. Otherwise, Amazon won't accept it. The process has always been you have to ungate 5 to 10 times. My record is 20 before an approval once. And it's always been tricky, but it has gotten a lot better. Just remember, always add the ACE into your inventory before you buy any product. You always want to see the prerequisites every single time. You don't want to buy stock and then find out you can't sell it because you bought it before adding it to your inventory. That's a mistake even seasoned pros make, just because it's easy to forget. And we run a prep center and we have some really big clients. Constantly we're telling them that they haven't listed their stock, which means we can't send their stock out. It really holds up operations in our prep center, and it's really risky for them. Many times they'll have hundreds of units of a product that they can't sell. So as I say, even the pros make this mistake, but you need to really remember that, reinforce that behavior every single time. Thank you for the follow, everyone, by the way. Give us a follow if you get any value from this live. Help us tap the like button. It really helps us get it out to more people. Thank you all for joining and asking your questions. Please, regardless of the platform you're on, please ask me your questions. I'm happy to help. Follow to inspire. What's an unknown wholesaler? Yeah, really good question. Okay, so in the UK, a known wholesaler, someone with a lot of trading history, they might have been going for decades. I'll give you an example. Harrison's Direct, everyone knows about that wholesaler. You need really good amounts of cash to be able to buy from them profitably because, it's a very, very large wholesaler, very competitive. Amazon know Harrison's Direct are buying legitimate stock, so it's very unlikely that they're going to request supply chain information in comparison to you buying from Bobby's Bits wholesaler, who's only been online for a couple of years, has no online presence, no Google profile, no website. Yeah, okay, they might be profitable, but can you really guarantee that they're buying legit stock? They might just be buying fake stock from China. And Quick Eater is a really good example of this, right? Quick Eater is a very, very clever idea as a business model. I'm a big fan of their business model. They work very hard to try and help sellers be compliant with Amazon. And you can get €100 off your first order if you use our link, which is in our free Discord community. Quick Eater is a really good example, right? In their settings, in their filters, you can switch on the filters that say only show marketplace invoice suppliers. What that means is anytime Amazon requests supply chain information, you're only going to see suppliers on Quick Eater that will prove supply chain if requested. That's a really big deal because if you're buying from ones that won't, Amazon don't accept them. And unfortunately, we talk to a lot of Amazon coaches in the space, and we get a lot of their clients. We have an account recovery expert in our team. We get a lot of business from their clients because they were telling them to buy from Quick Eater without that filter selected. And a lot of them were getting Section 3 violations, and they were struggling to get their accounts back. You absolutely can get your account back if you play by the game and you know how to get Section 3s removed. And obviously, if you're having issues with that, we have an account recovery guy who can help. But you need to be very careful. You need to have that filter selected. And in general, if you're not buying from Quick Eater, Just remember, if you're buying from a wholesaler and it's like no one knows who they are, they have no online presence, if Amazon's never heard of them, they're absolutely going to request supply chain information should you ever get an authenticity complaint or an IP violation. So just bear that in mind. Dan Weeks, how much are your VAs? Yes, mate. So an untrained VA, an inexperienced VA who goes through our training is going to be 699 plus VAT. Someone with 2+ years of experience that's gone through our strict criteria, we only pass 5% of applicants going through our training. We test them rigorously. We make sure they're good fits for our clients. We like to personality match as well. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. You know, it's thousands of interviews, a massive backlog of applicants. And that's 999 plus VAT. We just registered for VAT yesterday, which we were letting everyone know about in our social media. Every Amazon seller dreads that date, but it's just a part of business. You have to roll with the punches. And obviously, as a VAT registered seller, you can reclaim your VAT. So the only difference is initial on your cash flow. It doesn't cost you any extra money. Follow to Inspire. Who are good suppliers for coffee? Who's a good supplier for coffee? I haven't really sold much coffee, to be honest. I'm not sure. Let me have a think about that. Who's a good supplier for coffee? I'm drawing a blank. I haven't really sold that much coffee, to be honest, so I'm not sure. But I will ask, and I'll get back to you. Who was that? Follow to Inspire. Yeah. Good to see you in here as well, mate. Yeah, I'll find out. I'll ask around, and I'll send you a message and let you know. Given your business model, are you talking more like distributor, wholesale supplier, or are you talking a retailer? Because I don't think you do OA, right? I don't think you do arbitrage. Packed of, please, what applies to dangerous goods regulation? Is it transportation? Okay, so dangerous goods, to any new sellers out there watching, Amazon has a program called the Hazmat Dangerous Goods Program. You're not going to be automatically enrolled into it. You need to apply for it. You will get automatically accepted. Sometimes it can take a week, but you just have to apply. It's really straightforward. Just go to Seller Central, type in dangerous goods, apply for Hazmat program. And what that means is certain products have safety regulations around them. So think about this, right? If I have a deodorant can that's an aerosol, that aerosol has the potential to go, I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to get kicked off my live, but it could be potentially dangerous. It could be flammable, it could be chemical, it could be sharp, it could be knives, whatever it is. Any products that are registered as dangerous goods, they have to be transported with couriers that work with those types of products. And Amazon has specific fulfillment centers that are tailored to dangerous goods products. So when you're doing dangerous goods, it's much more expensive to ship them in. Which means it discourages a lot of people from doing it. A lot of people don't even know how to apply for it, actually. It's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know. But if you do sell dangerous goods, it can be very good. You have to send in enough stock so it's worth the cost of sending it in. You know, sending in a shipment to UPS might cost you £3, whereas dangerous goods might cost you 12, might cost you even more than that sometimes. So you need to have enough stock to compensate for the cost. But you typically, you see dangerous goods products, they tend to hold their price a lot better because it's more expensive to send in. People aren't stupid and they don't crash the listings as often. You know, with any supply and demand business model, including Amazon, if there's an excessive amount of supply and not as much demand, then the price is going to go down naturally. That happens in business in general. That happens in drop shipping as well. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, that's how dangerous goods works. It's potentially dangerous products. They'll be labeled a certain way, flammable, chemical, sharp, whatever it is. And you have to send them to a specific FC, and it costs more money to do it. But it can be really good. It can be very profitable. Yorkshire Gal Reviews, welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. Do you have any tips on getting safety documents for toys? Yeah, so safety data sheets, because we do OA and A to A, if you're trying to sell a product that requests a safety data sheet, you're not going to get them from retailers, so we just move on. We don't even bother trying to sell them. If you're going to buy from a decent wholesaler or a distributor or the brand directly, you can request safety data sheets. Not all of the suppliers are going to be able to give them to you. Some wholesalers won't be able to give them to you. Some of them will. It just depends. We are friends with a guy called Gravy, and he runs a company called Toy Connect. I can drop him a message and I can ask him if he provides safety data sheets. I'm not entirely sure if he does, but if anyone's going to know, it's him. But if you're doing OA A to A and your product requires safety data sheets, just move on and find something else. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get them from any retailer. They're not going to be able to send them. Sometimes you can find them online. Sometimes you can use ChatGPT. Sometimes you can Google it and find them. Not all the time though. Typically speaking, whenever a product requests it, I just ignore it and move on and find something else. Follow to inspire. Any kind of supplier I do OA, thank you. So when it comes to suppliers with OA, we have a free resource in our Discord community that you can join, link in the bio. The free resource is top 200 UK suppliers with all of their VAT information. And then it's any major retailer. You know, Sam, who's the head coach in our mentorship, Sam does 2 million a year without fail. He spends £100,000 a month on stock. Every single place he buys from, you've heard of it. Every single one. It's major retailers. So yeah, just make sure wherever you buy from, make sure the invoice is good. And if you're unsure if the invoice is going to be good, ask in our free Discord community because someone's bound to know. Give me 1 sec. Packed of. How can I get the regulatory body used for hazardous products information, unregulatory LD? How can I get the regulatory body used for hazardous product information? Okay, what I'm assuming you mean from that is how do you apply for the program, or how do you find out the regulation status of the product? And that's quite simple actually. If you go to the product listing on Amazon and check in SellerAmp SaaS, SellerAmp will have a DG tag to tell you if it's dangerous goods. You can also use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is quite good at telling you. In general, by the way, I don't ever say this on the live, be very careful with AI telling you information about Amazon. AI is incredible. We actually teach the people in our mentorship lots of AI stuff, and our software is going to be integrated with AI. AI is really bad at giving Amazon advice, and that's because Amazon's documentation is terrible. It is really arbitrary with how it follows its own rules, and it means AI is not very good at giving advice. So just be very careful asking GPT or Gemini or Perplexity, whichever one you use. Just be really careful with asking it arbitrage questions because it is really bad at giving that information. And yeah, I hope, where are you, Packed Of? I hope that answered your question. You can find out the status from SellerAmp SaaS on each listing. You can ask ChatGPT, and you can apply for the Dangerous Goods program by searching Dangerous Goods in Amazon Seller Central and following the links and the documents. You'll be apply for Dangerous Goods Hazmat. There'll be a link that says apply for Dangerous Goods and Hazmat program, and it takes roughly a week. Doesn't cost any money, so it's worth doing. Follow to inspire. Dangerous goods to do FBM. Yeah, dangerous goods can be really good with FBM. That's one of the few times where I really like FBM personally. I really like it. Sam doesn't do it as much. I don't think Reese and Cal do it too much either, but I really like FBM. And if you do dangerous goods via FBM, then yeah, absolutely, it can be really decent. I've got to be honest with you, I sell some DG products through eBay and I just use Yodel. Yodel don't check. Royal Mail check all the time, so don't bother trying to cheap out on a label. But yeah, Yodel, I used to do every delivery driver for a bit. No one's checking the parcels. No one has time to do that. But you know, I'm not advising anyone do that. You know, that is not me giving you advice to do that, because you know there is a chance that your product could go wrong, and you have to be aware that the driver is the one who's going to get in, is going to have issues if that happens. So yeah, you can definitely do dangerous goods with FBM. I like it a lot. FBM with A to A can be really good because you can sell out your stock quicker before other people jump on the listing. Not all the time, but it can be really good. Yorkshire Gal reviews, that would be great, thanks. It was just Lego. Wait, you're getting a safety data sheet request for Lego, or are you trying to get ungated? Can you confirm that, please? Barat, do you only do in the UK or USA as well? Barat, welcome to the live. We are UK focused. We're an Amazon UK company. And we are going to expand to the EU and the US as well. Obviously, the US is like such an amazing market, is the land of capitalism. So we're going to expand there eventually, but we have to niche down on the UK first. We're already crazy busy, and we don't have any direct experience selling in the US yet, but we will expand to it eventually. We just don't do it right now. I'm only comfortable giving you guys advice on stuff that I know and I have experience in. I can do my best to point you in the direction if I don't know the answer to a question, and I'll be honest about that as well. I'll be very transparent if you ask me a question I don't know. And USA related questions, because I've never directly sold in it, I fear that I would give you bad advice. You've got Ungated and Lego and it sells loads. It was just that one that they asked for. Okay, interesting. You're the first person I've seen say that they got a safety data sheet request for Lego. Hopefully it is just that one listing. Ooh, where are you going to get a Lego safety data sheet? Okay, I'm going to Yorkshire Gal Reviews. I'm going to make a note of that and I'm going to ask around. If you join our free Discord community, if you haven't done so already, drop me a message and I will try and find out if there is a place that we can get one for you. It might just be a case, to be honest. It might just be a case that you can't sell that specific product, which would be a shame, especially if it's selling well, but it happens. You know, you can't win them all, unfortunately. I'm going to give you guys, I think our team member isn't in this live, which I was expecting them to be. So I'm just going to give you guys a follow. Give us a follow, click the like button. Join the free Discord community. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you grow your Amazon business. Just typical, eh? Yeah, absolutely it is. It's frustrating, but it's part of the game, unfortunately. You can't win them all. That's why we recommend that you only invest a maximum of about 5% of your overall capital per brand. If you buy wide, if you buy thin and wide, don't go deep on brands. You spread your risk and you're going to make money overall. There's always going to be opportunities that are annoying like that, especially you just said it was selling a lot, so I bet that's really annoying for you. I was one of 5 authorized sellers for a big European brand. I was doing very well for 4 or 5 months, really well with that product. And Amazon changed their algorithm and I stopped being able to, I was at buy box price. I wasn't getting any buy box time with it. It just stopped. That was rough to accept that was over, that gravy train was over. And I really over leveraged our overall capital in that one brand. So that stung for a couple of months. For about 3 months that hurt, but you bounce back, you find alternatives and you learn as you go. That whole situation was why I learned that you should never over leverage more than 5 to 10%. I didn't know that beforehand and I put all of my capital into one brand. Very risky. Follow England, eh? That kind of sounds Canadian, doesn't it? Follow England, eh? Are you ungated on Adidas, mate? I do not sell Adidas, actually. I don't sell Adidas. I don't sell Nike. That's a much bigger thing in the US. I think they hard gated it, or I think they made it. I need to confirm. Because I haven't sold them, I can't say for sure. I think you can't sell them anymore. I need to confirm that. But yeah, I don't typically sell a lot of clothes. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. I've sold Adidas footballs quite a few times from Sports Direct. So I have done that. But yeah, I don't really sell a lot of Adidas. Right, what's another question we got? What's the time anyway? Okay, I've got about 17 minutes to be precise. No stress, got a few good leads this morning, but sadly gated. Yeah, I think Adidas and Nike are both hard gated. Well, I think there was talk of it anyway. How do you spell? Okay, yeah. Man, it's so funny. Every time you go live, maybe this is just true for me. Every time I go live, my ability to do mental maths and type just goes out the window. It's the pressure of performing. Okay, right. I've asked in my chat with the guys if they know if they're hard gated. Let's find out together. Okay. Okay, how do you find your first profitable product on Amazon FBA? So that is a question I get asked all the time, and it is as simple as you need to learn Selleramp and Keeper. You need to learn them both. I told you earlier today I was going to say why you needed Keeper and SellerAmp together. And the reason is SellerAmp is kind of a brief overview snapshot of the information. Keeper is a deep dive, granular, go deep on the listing and figure out what's happening. SellerAmp SaaS is not going to give you accurate information on the variation of a listing some of the time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. SellerAmp is not going to give you accurate information on the variation. Keeper will tell you very accurately, roughly, very accurately kind of, how many listings that variation you're looking at is selling. Keeper will give you the entire history of the listing, which means you can find IP violations on their products. You can't do that all the time with SaaS, and sometimes the warnings on SaaS are wrong. That's why you need them both. So if you're trying to find your first product, you need to dedicate your time to learning SellerAmp and Keeper together. That's how you find products. You test them, you sell them, you see that they sell for profit, and you prove the concept, and you get hooked, hopefully, just like we did. Okay, let's talk about what tools you actually need in your Amazon business. So do you need to pay for a repricer in the beginning? No, absolutely not. Repricers are really good when you have a lot of listings and you want to reduce the amount of hours you're working on manually pricing yourself. Amazon has a repricer that you can use from day one. It's free, and that's fine in the beginning. Just use that one. Do you need to pay for SageMailer? No, not really. You can use SageMailer for free to request Amazon compliant reviews. You can try and get some feedback on your account, and you don't have to pay for that. The software that we've developed actually has this functionality as well. Amazon used to allow you to send custom emails to customers and you'd be able to get way more reviews. Unfortunately, they changed the rules and you can't do that anymore, and it's become a lot harder, but it's still worth trying. Do you need to pay for communities that provide leads? No, you don't. A lot of communities that charge you to give you leads, they're giving those leads to hundreds of people, and they all end up crashing and tanking. Not all the time. I'm not going to send hate to any communities. I really like some of the other communities out there. It's just the business model was surrounded by people saying it doesn't work, and it was almost always people that bought leads from a server where the prices tanked. So just remember, if you're going to do this model, get good at the skill of sourcing yourself. It is a skill, it can be learned and improved, and you need to do it. Can you use software tools that help you get better at the skill? Can you use software that gives you the tools to find your own leads? Yes, absolutely. Sign up to our waitlist for our software, and when that comes out, hopefully you'll enjoy it. Follow to inspire. What repricer do I use? I've tested all of them, so have the rest of the guys in the team. We actually have some quite funny stories about some of the repricing softwares out there. The best repricer in our experience is SDK. You have to buy SDK base model and then the repricer, so you have to buy both. Honestly, the simplicity of SDK makes it the best. There's loads of like AI repricers out there that say, oh yeah, we spike your buy box price when you get buy box and then you make extra profit, and they really like to show all this extra profit. In our testing, that's just not what we've seen. In our testing, we've seen the SDK, you match the buy box price, you get the listing, you make many sales, and then you lose the listing. So you may make lower profit, but you make more sales. With these reprices that spike the buy box price to get you that extra profit, the spike in buy box price makes you lose the buy box faster, and then you make fewer sales in terms of units. So in our experience, SDK with its simplicity was the best one. I've tried all of them. I really wanted some of them to work more than they did. Like PPP, I really wanted that to work better, but I just didn't have good results with PPP. There's one of them, I can't remember, the Seller Snap. That one costs $250 a month. It's probably really good in the US. It's just not good in the UK. We tested it and it tanked listings hard in the UK, which obviously makes a lot of Amazon sellers very unhappy at you. So yeah, Seller Snap was not a good one. Probably good in the US. I definitely wouldn't use it here personally. What software do you use for A to A leads? I use Keeper for A to A leads, and I use our software for EU A to A leads. That's what I do. I don't use any other software, just Keeper and our own software, Seller Smart software. What do you think of Profit Protector Pro? So yeah, when I said PPP, that's what I meant, Profit Protector Pro. The guys who run it seem really cool. I haven't actually spoken to them yet. I'm going to have to message them. I really wanted it to work better than it did. It just, for me, I didn't get results with it. I don't know why, and I'm not bashing them. You know, a repricer might work really well for you and it might not work well for me. But SDK got much better sales results than PPP in my experience. And to be honest with you, the rest of the guys in the team have tried them all as well, and I think they would say the same. Yeah, not sure why. It's just SDKs so far has been the best. I'm not going to read that out loud, but that's pretty disgusting. Thank you for commenting, though. I appreciate your engagement. Helps us push out this live to more people. What's the next question? What filters in Keeper do you use for A to A leads? Mate, I'm not going to say that publicly on the live. Why would I do that? That's mad. We teach people in our mentorship what filters to use. That's something that we show people in our mentorship. But no, unfortunately, I can't talk about that one publicly. I will give you 80 to 90% of my knowledge for free. I'm more than happy to do that, but I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot and publicly tell you guys how I specifically find products. That would be very foolish of me. Not very long-term sighted if I was going to do that. Okay, so how does the Amazon FBA buy box work? So the buy box is that box that customers see when they go to buy a product. It will say buy now or add to cart. That's the buy box. What the majority of people in the world don't realize is the sellers behind that buy box. What most people around the world don't realize is behind that buy box is a rotation of lots of different sellers. Not on every listing, just on arbitrage ones that we sell. So if I have good seller metrics, if I have good reviews, if I have enough stock, if I am geographically located near the customer, those are all going to determine how much time in the buy box I get. You're going to hopefully equally share around the buy box time as long as you're matching buy box price. Does that mean you have to be the cheapest price? Absolutely not. Sometimes the cheapest price on the listing isn't getting the buy box, and that's because Amazon doesn't want to sell it at that price. You need to match the buy box price, which means whenever you are trying to get the buy box, you should match, not undercut by a penny. Undercutting by a penny is going to crash the listings price, and it sucks for everyone. Don't do it. There's only some occasions where I would recommend undercutting, and it's if you've been in the rotation for a week and you haven't gotten buy box time, or you're competing directly against Amazon and they're not sharing it. That's the only time. Follow England. I'm glad you enjoyed that laugh. How do you pronounce that? Alinubu? I think I'm butchering that. Apologies if I am. Have you done FBM? So for people who don't know, FBA is fulfillment by Amazon. That's where I send stock into Amazon's fulfillment centers and they send the stock to the customers for me. FBM is fulfillment by merchant. This is where I make a sale and I send the stock to the customer myself or through my prep center. And then you've got SFP, which is seller fulfilled prime, where you've gotten really good FBM stats and Amazon is giving you the prime badge on your FBM listings. That's a really good thing to have. Yes, I have done FBM. I really like FBM personally. You know, Amazon lose a lot of stock. You get inventory damaged. Your stock gets damaged in Amazon's fulfillment warehouses all the time. FBM now gets more allocation in the buy box than they used to. I really like it personally, but as a new seller, you have to be cautious because if you get a negative review with FBA, Amazon accept responsibility for that review and they strike it from your account. If you do FBM and you get negative reviews, then it's much harder to get them removed. And the UK economy is in the toilet right now. And Amazon is a marketplace where they typically reward scammers. They give people their money back even when they're clearly scamming sellers. So with FBM, you're going to come across a lot of chances. You're going to come across a lot more people trying to scam. There are ways that you can handle those people that work really well. We teach that in our mentorship as well. But just bear in mind that you're going to get a lot of grifters who try and take your money and threaten bad reviews and things like that. And unfortunately, it's just part of the game. That really sucks in the beginning, but you have to become numb to it. You have to develop a thick skin. You really can't get emotionally bogged down by the troubles in your business as you face them because you won't be in the game long term if you do. And I know how that sounds. I'm not telling you to be a robot. I'm just saying develop a thick skin, otherwise you won't survive. I'm doing FBM right now, but have not received any sales yet. My products have been up for a week. Yeah, so what you're probably doing is you're probably matching buy box price against FBA sellers. FBM, you need to undercut FBA sellers by about 5p, I would say, maybe a bit more sometimes. It depends on the sale price of the product. If the product is really expensive, you're going to need to undercut FBA by a bit more. But yeah, if you're competing against FBA sellers as FBM, just try selling at a cheaper price. Try 5p, wait and hold it for a day, see what happens. Then try 10p, a little bit more. If the if the sell price of the product is really high, maybe try 50p to a pound. Whilst FBM sellers do get more buy box rotation, they absolutely do not get equal buy box over FBA. You have to sell the product cheaper. And if you do FBM, make sure that your shipping settings are set up correctly, because if they're not, you're going to run into issues and it's going to hurt your scores in FBM. And you also need to make sure, all of you need to make sure that your automatic invoicing is switched on. Just remember you do that as well. That's a big thing that beginners, that's a really big thing that Amazon don't make obvious and beginners aren't aware of. So just bear that in mind. Apple user, yeah, because they have insurance. Yeah, okay, yeah. So you're talking about why Amazon rewards scammers for screwing over sellers. Kind of. They have insurance, but also 60% of the products sold on Amazon are sold by third-party sellers. If they're refunding people that are scammers, they're just passing the cost off to you and I. Amazon, it doesn't hurt their coin purse to reward that. It does hurt us though, which is why I think it needs to be regulated. There was a documentary, there was a kind of like news article documentary on Amazon years ago, where they said they were going to regulate returns fraud. And I was watching that and I was getting really excited about it, because it costs e-commerce businesses something absolutely absurd, like 5 billion a year or something, and it just, nothing has changed. So I don't hold out for hope for anything, but it's the game no matter where you are. If you do Shopify, you're going to get this even worse, to be honest. How much do you think is a good for starting? At least £1,000. You need to start with at least £1,000. Don't bother starting with less. Just do something else until you have enough money to start. More than 1,000 is better, but you need at least £1,000. Ali Anabu, do you mind looking up my product and giving me your opinion? Yeah, go on then. If you join our free Discord community, drop me a message in Discord, send me the ASIN and I'll check it for you. I'm not supposed to do that anymore. I've been told off for doing that because we work for free. We work for free too much, and we are a business, but I like helping people, so I don't mind doing that. Right, guys, I am fully booked with calls today. Literally all day I'm going to be on calls because we're hiring new staff members. So I really appreciate you joining the live. I hope you found some value in it. Give us a follow wherever you're watching from. Join our free Discord community, link in the bio. If you want to work one-to-one with us, we have a really strong 50k guarantee, or double your revenue if you're an existing seller. We have virtual assistant recruitment if you want to hire a VA. We have a prep center. We have a software coming out. You can join the wait list. And I really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining today. Have a good day, everyone. And I'm not going to be live again today just because I'm busy, but I will be on live tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow.